What's up YouTube? Back with another video on my Planet 40 breeder fish rack. Um, just did a water change, so I wanted to take the opportunity to show you guys my clean tanks, somewhat clean. There's still some debris floating around, but yeah, so let's start off with the top right 40, which is the tank I always start off with. So in this tank, the biggest difference in this tank, I would say, is the jungle valve. I did cut it down. I cut like about 2.5 feet off. Maybe 2 feet. Maybe not 2.5 feet. That might be a little bit over exaggerating right there. But yeah, it was covering most of the tank, and a lot of my plants weren't getting enough light, which were like specifically the crypt in the back was melting away. And some of my plants under the jungle valve weren't growing as fast, so I chose to trim it down. So it kind of looks like ugly right now, but I mean it'll grow back. It's in a high-tech setup, so generally the plants in my high-tech setups grow pretty fast, just because it's an easy plant, but in a high-tech setup it grows super duper fast. What else? To the left, the jungle valve, which is this plant right here, I actually did thin it out. I took about 5 or 6 bunches of plants, like grouping of plants out of this bush, and it still looks pretty thick, but yeah, I did thin it out. The plant to the right, the red plant to the right of that plant, the Java fern, is Liguigia lombosa, I believe. I might be butchering that name, but I got this plant as one stem at the auction, and I've cut it down like 4 or 5 times already, and it grows to the surface, in a matter of days, maybe a week. So a super fast growing plant, has a really red, deep color. I have it in a high-tech setup, but yeah, I would say it's an easy plant to grow. A few more updates, I would say, in this tank would be this Pogo Stamen Helferi. Now I got these ones from a tissue culture from PetSmart. Wouldn't say they were in the best shape. I got them for $1 because they were pretty much dying. So it took me a few weeks for these plants to kind of bounce back. But I would give it a couple more months. It should fill out the Tupperware pretty nicely. And yeah, I think it's a cool plant. If I zoom in a little bit closer, you can see the leaves are really spindly, not spindly, but wavy. And I think that's a pretty unique look for this plant in general. To the left of that is my Crypt Parva. This is a really slow growing plant, insanely slow growing. Hasn't done much since I got it, but I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that maybe in like 6 months it'll look really nice. As far as fish load, same fish still in here. I had to take a few fish out just because they're getting sick. They're still alive. They're actually in my quarantine tank right now, being medicated. But yeah, so yeah, I took 2 rainbows out and an angelfish out. But everything else, as far as livestock, is pretty good. We'll move down to the lower tank. Ooh, this lower tank right here. Let's see what is new. I put 3 lights on this tank, so it definitely has high light now. I have 3 65K 30-watt LED lights. Now it's at night right now, so all the bubbles you see is actually just, I believe it's just purling. No CO2. CO2 has been off for, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours already, at least. Now what can I show you about this tank? So I guess the plant in the front is Blixa japonica, mid-ground, depending on your tank size, but mid-ground or low ground carpeting plant, I guess. Or it's a very bushy plant. I bought this plant I bought one plant actually from my local fish store, and a few more plants from my local auction, my fish club. And I was able to split it up and propagate it that way. and in about 2 weeks, yeah, about 2 weeks, it's filled in, or it's grown, so it looks like a, just tall grass, or not tall, but just a bush, So I like the look, and I like the way, when the current hits it, it kind of just waves. But yeah, to the right of the Blixa is AR Mini. I believe it's called Alternantheria renicki Mini. So this is the smaller version of the regular Alternanthera renicki. I might be butchering that name, but I got this. I got one plant from one of my friends that bidded on this plant at the auction, and after a few months or a couple months, I was able to split it up and propagate it like I did the Blixa. Awesome plant, really deep pink color under the leaves. I did have a algae problem on some of the leaves when I first got it, but those are the older leaves. I might trim them down. This little beta right there chilling. Yeah, I do have a beta in this tank with all these fish. Sometimes he doesn't like the current as much, so he kind of hides behind the Tupperware. But yeah, as far as fish load, let's see, since I'm talking about my beta anyways, white clouds are doing well. I did put the two yellow rainbows in here. I might actually get rid of these yellow rainbows just because I have a lot. In the back, you can see one of my rubber lip plecos. Those guys hide all the time, so I never see him. So I'm glad he's actually out while I'm recording. My crypt lucens, which is the yellow or the green crypt in the back, is doing really well. I wish it spread out a little bit better, because you could still kind of tell they're in clumps. The plant is in clumps, so hopefully it spreads out and it looks more bushy and full. Now this red plant to the left is Alternanthera regular, the regular form. This one grows really tall and kind of rooty. You see the roots growing out of the stem, which is a look I don't really like. Kind of just looks dirty. So I'll let it grow for a couple more weeks. If it still is like really rooty, then I might just get rid of it. If not, then I'll just keep it because it's a really good looking plant. I like that pink, that deep pink. I like that color. I did get some Christmas moss that I recently attached onto fossilized wood and coconut husk. Coconut cave. Waiting for that to grow in. Right to the left of that is a Pelia block, I guess. I wrapped some Pelia around a block, well, it looks like a block, but it's actually just stone. So hopefully all these ones grow in really well. I might have to do a little bit of trimming to promote, more lush growth. But yeah, and this cool plant right here. Now this plant in the center with I would say like kind of like awkward shaped leaves is Pinnafatta something. Is it Pogostamen or Hygrophila pinnafatta, I believe. That plant's I'm pretty excited for that plant because it has a unique leaf structure, and yeah, it stands out. I like plants that kind of stand out from one another. Yeah, so try not to stay too long onto this tank, but plants are doing well, fish are doing well, so yeah, let's move on to the next tank. Now let's go all the way over here. So this tank right here is my top left 40 breeder. Plants are growing really well, it's super lush. I would say this tank is doing the best out of all four of my tanks. And I say best very loosely just because this one stays the clearest. I would say this is the most balanced. Maybe it's because it has the most mature plants. I don't know. Nothing really stays the same in all four of my tanks just because I'm always constantly changing things. But yeah, obviously I had a angel in here. I did take him out. I'm trying to make an all angel tank. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but Yeah, I'm gonna try to make it all angels tank. It's gonna be a little bit challenging because angels tend to be a little bit more aggressive towards one another, so or territorial. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see. As far as plants, this left plant right here is purple pennywort, which I got from another tissue culture at PetSmart. It was $1. It was pretty much dead, and it bounced back, and it looks pretty cool. The only gripe I have with this plant is not necessarily with the plant, but the tank has a high flow, so therefore plants like this, plants with like weak stems, blow and kind of just look ugly. So I might take it out, might switch to another tank. Stargarden Repens, killing it. I think last time that had these separated into two containers, Tupperwares, I put it in one. Looks a little bit better, and it saves some space. And it was a deeper substrate bed, and I'm a huge advocate for deeper substrate beds. I believe it gives obviously the roots or the plants more space to grow, so they grow a lot taller. So yeah. Let's see, mermaid weed, which is this spindly plant right here. I did cut it recently, like about a day ago, just because it was getting towards the surface. Hopefully those sadder looking taller stems grow out new stems, so I could repropagate it again and again. Let's see, the purple plant in the back is awesome. I believe it's maybe Lagugia Rubin or something Rubin, I'm not too sure. But awesome looking plant, super red. I love the contrast between the green and red, just that one red plant. So I need to get a few more red plants in here. But yeah, that plant grows super fast, super thick. Just get a little bit rooty. I'm trying to find a plant that I could hide, put in front of this one that doesn't grow too tall, but tall enough to hide the root structures in the middle of the plant. My Pogostamen erectus, I don't know if you could see it back there, but it's another plant with spindly leaves. This one's growing so fast. I got this with one stem, and I have about like 20. I know you can't see it from the camera, but there is a lot of stems. Let's see if I can go around, pull my hand right there. Yeah, there is a lot in there. So fast growing plant. Again, this is another high-tech setup. So yeah, super fast growing plant. Loving the texture, I guess it gives the tank, but right now it's still growing towards the surface, so it's kind of hiding behind this not too sure what this plant is called, actually I forgot. So many plants, so it's easy for a plant name to slip my mind. But yeah, so Pogostamen erectus, and it's super vibrant too, the color. So a lot of texture, a lot of color tones in this tank. So Crypt lutea is doing really well. Did put a couple pieces of driftwood in here, which is pretty cool too, or just one actually. That's because I have bristle noses in here, albino bushy nose plecos in here. So as far as livestock, I am putting a couple more rainbows in here. I do have my Serpe tetras. They're kind of all tired, so they're kind of like hiding. I do have about 15 or 20 in here. Don't remember. But yeah, and I am adding a few, or another type of fish, which would be a golden barb. But that's after I'm fish quarantining them. So a few more days. So hopefully I'll get you guys another update. But yeah, that's pretty much it with this tank. At least that's what's new. So going down to my last tank, which is pretty much a catch-all tank. This is my tiger barb tank. I ended up just tossing all my extra plants in here. And what I mean by extra is some of these plants grew a little bit too fast in a high-tech setup. Man, you could really see the scratch glass, but yeah, I'll have to do something about that. But yeah, Some of these plants grow a little bit too fast, so I ended up putting them into a non-CO2 tank. So this would be quote unquote my low tech tank. Some of the plants actually still do pretty well in this tank. But for example, the wisteria I cut back, I sold most of it. Uh, and yeah, it's still alive. So if I ever do want to put in a high tech setup and get that big bushy look for like a jungle look again, I could, I always can get that. And I tossed in my extra java ferns in here, um, my jungle slash dorsage little container. So this is just like kind of a catch-all tank. I do want to, I don't know if I want to scape it or organize the plants out a little bit more, but um, yeah, that's about it. Just like a little bit of everything in this tank. I want to get more tiger barbs, and I want to get rid of the rainbows in here. Just make it a species specific tank. Excuse me. Yeah, and just get a lot more tiger barbs, and that's about it. I do have this blanket over my quarantine tank right now, so after those fish are done being medicated, I'll move some more fish around. So yeah, let's pan out. Just take a quick look at my planted 40 breeder fish rack. Yeah, so nothing much going on. Just want to update you guys on what I did and what's new and what's not. But hopefully I'll update. I don't know when I'll update, but hopefully next time there's more stuff to see and those plants grow. Hopefully next time when I update you guys, those plants grow in and there's new stuff to see. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll probably talk to you guys next time. Later.